They want the energy of the child before that chemical change happens, and so they rape children, and in doing so, they're literally sucking their energy out of them, their life force. That's the word. And
by the way, let me stop you. I
know so much more about this now after the last few weeks. They are possessed by entities that operate just outside of visible light. These are the demons under other names that people have talked about, and religions and ancient texts have talked about. And these demonic entities, they feed off human energy. They feed off the child's energy because they're possessing the rapist, if you like, of the child.
David, I don't want to interrupt you, but we've got to for the break. That's what Frederick Mitterrand says in here. He calls it a ritual.
The New World Order beast is genetically modifying your food, mixing vegetables with animals, and now experimenting with viruses. Without a long-term food solution, you will have just two options: starve, or surrender. All canned food supplies will eventually run out. What then? Grow your own healthy food and feed your family forever. SurvivalistSeeds.com is now the nation's largest bulk heirloom seed company. And it's owned by a real patriot, Big John Lipscomb. You can now have an infinite amount of healthy vegetables like a watermelon, a bundle of carrots, or tomatoes for a little more than a penny each. SurvivalistSeeds.com. And now you can go into business with Big John at SurvivalistSeeds.com by becoming an affiliate. See his link at SurvivalistSeeds.com.
There's an old adage. The devil's greatest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. And that's why psychopaths are able to pick up young women and children. That's why dictators are able to rise to power. That's how this Michael Hilton con artist could go take over the town in Hardin, Montana. Because people don't want to admit they're being conned or that other people are taking advantage of them. Final segment with David Icke. I want to make this point, though. Just from a anthropology view or from the angle of archaeology, I don't claim to be a historian, but I have made a wide study of history. It's so huge, no one can even be an expert really in one area, in my opinion. It's so lengthy in the different interpretations of history. But whether it was the Babylonians, or whether it was the Romans, or whether it was the Greeks, or whether it was many of the Middle Eastern tribes, Asian tribes, African tribes, Mesoamerican tribes, the Aztecs, they all had high priests who all followed the same secret mathematics religion. They all worshiped the same snake god, and they all demanded women, children, and men, normally the most beautiful, the most healthy, to be sacrificed, and the Aztecs particularly believed great pain had to be created. Now, even the elites there, not just children having their hearts cut out and then cut up into meat, that's how the priests funded themselves, was the sale of the #1 meat that was consumed, human flesh, in all of the Mayan kingdoms, but particularly the most aberrant, the Aztecs, the most extreme, that they would take long pieces of rope with glass through their tongues and through their genitals to create hallucinations of pain while taking hallucinogens. And you see that in all these different cultures, believing that they had to feed the snake god with the blood. And so even if you don't believe in God, the devil, two different forces, any of this, the point is, Tony Blair, his wife, I mean, they admit Blair went all over the world, Francois Mitterrand, all of them, to be possessed by the spirit of white light. He would hit the ground every morning, flop around. That's mainstream news. The Bushes and Skull and Bones in big pits of feces and urine, being reborn in homosexual orgies. Someone dresses the devil with a crown, brings them into knights in Satan's service. This is admitted. And so you need to understand this is real. Even if you're an atheist and don't believe in anything outside the limited senses you have, and you don't believe in the sixth senses or any things that have been proven in university studies, you must know that the most aberrant, the most destructive have created a kingdom of psychopathic delight to trample on and be trampled on, to press on the nerves of power, to humiliate innocence and beauty. Because to them, the psychopath describes being in a cold, horrible, depressed place until they're torturing a child, until they're torturing a woman. Then it's like a blazing light. I've had the top psychiatrist on who've interviewed hundreds of killers. And it's all the same. They are alive when they've got a woman chained down, biting chunks out of her. They're alive. Hitler was only happy he would go to the front and watch through high-powered binoculars burning cities and could stay up for days on end without drugs or coffee, just loving the death and the burning and the black uniforms and the armored vehicles. This is the spirit of the New World Order. It is death, and it seeks to kill. David Icke, the elite have stated openly, and we have this in my film Endgame, that they will destroy the planet before they let true humanity bloom. Where do you see that going?
Wishful thinking. There's a lot of wishful thinking going on within their cabal, because compared with consciousness in its true state, compared with the infinite consciousness that is all that is and we are part of, and we are, they are a fly on an elephant's back. They have a massively inflated opinion of their own power because they are completely, exactly as you've just described, for the reasons you've just described, they are absolutely disconnected from higher levels of awareness and consciousness. They are in a tiny box themselves. They've only been able to control us because they've manipulated us into a smaller box of awareness than they're in. And when we awaken, this is why they're terrified of it, we just blow the fly off the elephant's back when we're in our true power. And this vibrational change, this consciousness shift, this consciousness awakening that's coming, they're going to get blown away by it eventually in a few years from now, because they don't have the power they think they have, because they're in a bubble. Therefore, they don't know the picture either. They don't know the big picture. They can't access at that level that's got the big picture. And the big picture is what is now manifesting itself through more and more and more people, and the big picture is going to bring this down. There's many people I wouldn't like to be for the next little part of our existence, and every single one in the control system is top of that list. I really wouldn't like to be them when they realize the true nature of what's actually going on.
That's right. They punish themselves when they realize that they're damming themselves off from the universe. We don't punish them. The Creator doesn't punish them. They punish themselves. What happens to them, David Icke, as the shift occurs?
Well, I could talk about this at some considerable length, but they are connected vibrationally. They're connected to the control construct. It's a vibrational construct, and they're connected to it. They're part of it. And when that comes down, well, they're out of here. They're out of here. They're not going to be here anymore.
But you say the elites don't know that. In all their fairy tales, in all their archetypes, when the evil wizard loses his orb, the whole palace collapses on him.
Yes, because, it's a vibrational construct. You could symbolize it in your mind as a vibrational box, and they are attached to it. They're part of it. They're an expression of it. So when the box comes down, when that vibrational construct is unpicked and just falls, they fall and go with it. They're at the physical level, these guys are going out of existence because obviously as consciousness, higher levels of themselves that they're completely disconnected from, that continues to exist because we are all eternal consciousness. But that level of them that has become isolated in this reality to the point where they're completely disconnected from the true level of who they are, that's going when this change takes place.
I want to throw out a few other points, just getting back to the lay of the ground, the topography here in the third dimension. David Icke, they are now, there's no doubt the awakening's happening, and we're always saying it's happening, but now it's exponential in whole magnitudes of level. So is their tyranny. Obama being announced the Peace Prize for torture and expanding wars, throwing it in our face, saying this is what we honor, a sick joke. Handing the internet fully over to Icke and the UN 2 weeks ago. Open announcements of the end of the dollar. Open announcements of world government. They're moving on every front. there is no doubt that they are attempting to make their final move. Why are they doing this at this time?
Well, they're doing this, as I said earlier, because the inner core know and have known for a long time that this period was coming when this vibrational energetic cycle, it's a natural cycle, it was going to start to get people to break out of their mind prisons. And so they have thrown everything they can, and there's more to come, obviously, at us at this period of time, because they know this is happening, and they want to put the lid on it.
What do they think about us?
Alex, if you look at it from another angle, because, you know, it seems that they're all powerful and all this. You know what? They're throwing all these things. I mean, you could list them forever, the things that are coming in. Why? It's panic. It's blind panic.